After Hours goes Hollywood tonight. We're at the Staples Center, all set to unravel one of the great mysteries of the NHL, which is how a young man from a small country with 7 sheets of ice and 100 registered adult hockey players has become one of the stars of the NHL. But Anze Kopitar is the first and only, to this point, Slovenian to play in the NHL, and no one knows this story better than Mark Crawford, who was Anze's first NHL coach. In fact, Anze, some of the players from those 2 years could take credit for Mark being in broadcasting now and not behind the bench of an NHL team, but you're not one of them because you gave him everything you had in your first 2 seasons. 20 goals your first year, 32 goals, 77 points last season.
Yeah.
And where do you want to start, Mark? Perhaps with a question to Anze about how he likes his new coach? Would that be good?
No, we'll leave that one off. But I'm just thrilled to death that Anze agreed to come up here, especially after a tough loss. I mean, the Kings played a great game tonight. We're probably a little bit unfortunate they didn't get something more out of it. And let's talk a little bit about Anze. And he is a great story coming from that small country. Anze, tell the viewers, like when you played minor hockey, was there much of a minor hockey system back in Slovenia?
Well, I mean, I don't know about the good minor hockey, but at least there was a league back there, and you know, I think I always play with 3 years or 4 years older guys, so it was kind of a challenge for me. You know, they were all much bigger and much stronger, but you know, that's what it was for me. I played you know, about 50 games every year, and you know, I guess it helped me a lot.
Just before we leave your relationship with Mark, we had Alex Burrows on After Hours last week. He did a highly acclaimed imitation of Mark. Did you see it?
Yeah, I did see it on YouTube, but I think I'm going to pass. I'm going to pass on that.
He's a great player. He never got yelled at, ever.
Fair enough. You have been called the perfect blend of size, speed, and skill. And when you showed up here in Los Angeles, Mark's training camp 2 years ago at the age of 19, the Kings allegedly had every intention of sending you down. But before you left home, you had said to your father, and he told me this yesterday, they will not be sending me down. I will make that team. Yeah. What did you do to make the Kings change their mind?
It sounds like a cliche, but I don't know. I knew my conditioning was really good, and you know, I just knew everything I have to show is what I do on the ice. And you know, I came into training camp with a lot of motivation, and you know, I was ready to make the team, and you know, I just had to prove it. And you know, I think I had a pretty good rookie camp, and then after that a main camp. So that's why they kept me there. But you know, they were saying they're going to send me to the AHL first, but you know, I proved them wrong, and I'm really glad I did that.
Well, quickly, Mark, because we want to get the fans in here. When did you realize that Anze was a keeper?
Well, I remember talking to Andy Murray and Dave Taylor right when I came here, and they both said that he was the real deal, and definitely they thought he was close to being ready. And I know Dean Lombardi is a guy that really believes guys have to earn their stripes, and for the most part that's true. But I think when you have Anze's talent level, and he was definitely a motivated guy, as you've already alluded to, that rookie camp where we were playing against the other team's rookies, the guys from San Jose, the guys from Phoenix, the guys from Anaheim, he showed right away that he was the top player in that tournament, and he kept showing that on into the exhibition schedule. And we already showed earlier tonight, maybe we'll get a chance to see it again, his first goal in his first game against the Anaheim Mighty Ducks, which really put him on the forefront of the Kingland here very quickly in his career.
Yeah, in fact, he scored 2 that night. We'll take a look at that first goal in our next. Well, actually, let's have a look at it now. And this was you going around Chris Pronger. I said earlier tonight that at that point you're brand new in the NHL. He's probably wondering, who is that guy who just gave me windburn?
Yeah, well, I don't know what I was thinking, to be honest with you, too. And I know Dustin just kind of chipped it off the boards there, and I skated into it, and I knew I had a lot of speed there, so I just you know, went around him, and it worked out pretty good for me.
All right, let's, as I say, bring the fans in. We've got an email question from Quentin in Brooks, Alberta. Who has been the toughest goaltender to play against in the West for you?
Well, I don't know. There's a lot of good goaltenders in the West with, you know, Kiprusoff and Luongo, and, you know, even in Detroit, the goalies are really good. And, you know, it's hard to pick, but I might go with Luongo.
Okay, we've made the point, Anze, that Slovenia is not a hockey nation in the way that many others in the world are. Very few registered adult hockey players there. But growing up, we're told that all you ever wanted to become was an NHL player. So where did the dream come from?
I don't know. I mean, my dad was playing hockey before, so it was kind of easy for me to go, after him. I remember he came home one day and he cut me a little stick, and he shot left too. So that was his first stick. But after that, I started watching him on TV when I understood the game a little bit, and it was fun back there. The arenas in Slovenia were packed too, and there was actually a big rivalry going on between Team Jesenice and Team Ljubljana, which is the capital, and that's how I kind of fall in love with hockey, and I've been in love with hockey ever since.
Legend has it, and Mark told me this, so I guess that qualifies it as a legend, that your grandmother, who is an English teacher, used to interview you after your games in Jesenice, an interview in English, so that you'd be ready when you got to the NHL. Is that true?
Yeah, I don't know. It was kind of a funny story. One day I came up to her, and she was a teacher in school, and I said, what, Grandma, I want to learn English because I don't think I'm going to play in Slovenia for much longer, and I'm going to need to speak English in about 5 years. But it sounded pretty funny for her, and she started laughing at me. But here I am right now, and I'm really glad I did that.
And I'm guessing she provided you with better questions than you're getting from us tonight. But here's one from Mark.
Oh, that's a good way. That was a great segue.
No pressure there.
No pressure at all. Well, Anze, we talked a lot earlier about goaltending in the league. Also, for fans in Canada who see a lot of the Northwest Division, how competitive and how much of a battle is it playing down here where you're playing against these top teams in the Western Conference, San Jose, Anaheim, Phoenix, and Dallas all the time?
Yeah, well, it's pretty hard division for us. I mean, with Anaheim, Dallas, and San Jose, and now Phoenix got a lot stronger too this year, and it might be the toughest division in the league, but we got to battle through it. I think we have a good group of guys that are playing really good hockey right now. We got to battle and compete every night, and I'm pretty sure results are going to come too.
You're from a small, very close-knit family, just your brother and your parents. Tell us about the very difficult decision you made at the age of 16 to leave Jesenice and go play in Sweden and Södertälje.
Yeah, that was really hard for me, and I'm really close with my family, and with 16 years old going to Sweden, not really knowing where I was going, it was a pretty tough step for me, but I knew that was the next step for me if I wanted to accomplish my dreams and come to the NHL, and
well, there you are in Södertälje, right?
Yeah,
the age of 17 or 18.
That's 18. I didn't really have the cage on anymore, but that was my next step, and I'm really glad I took it, and it was a really good experience for me.
By the way, these pictures come to us from Peter Rodmalm, who is the official photographer for Södertälje, and he tells us that they still follow your career very closely there. Now, who are all those people?
That's Jonathan Eriksson. He's with Detroit System right now, and that's me in the net. And there's a couple more guys from Södertälje, and that's actually the picture from my draft day. And I remember that day pretty good.
Well, and that is a perfect segue, because what you were notable for on draft day when the Kings' Dave Taylor took you 11th was that you weren't there. Why not?
I don't know. I mean, the full season started in Södertälje. We were playing exhibition games, and I thought just staying there wouldn't give me the jet lag, but I regret it a little bit right now, because it's obviously a great experience to be there, and got presented a jersey, but that's how it is. But still happy.